Bum, 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 bum. What's up, nerds? It's your boy, OGGM the Barbarian, coming to you live from the plains of Chimera. It's Friday. It's time to take a look at all the tabletop role-playing game bits and bobs of news we might have missed. Because we were spending too much time obsessing over Wizards of the Coast. And if you're wondering why I'm starting with these pictures of Conan, it is because we have some status on the Conan movie. You may not know this because it's not common news, but Arnold has been petitioning for quite a while to do one more Conan film using some of the King Conan, old Conan stories that were written. He wants to do one more. He wants to do it kind of like the style of Unforgiven, where you have an older, more weathered Conan, one last quest where he has to rely more on his wisdom and his skills than his strength. So, Arnold wants to go out the way he came in, Conan, and then maybe retire from films. Who knows? This has been in development hell forever. He had a deal with Netflix. There was a script. There was a director. There was money. People wanted to do it. And then as of now, it is back into development hell. Arnold is in amazing shape for a man his age, but who knows how many more movies he has in him. So I think we would all love to see a King Conan, old Conan, Arnold pick up the sword one more time, play that character one more time, and give it the send-off final, it deserves. Because we need a return to just classic 80s fantasy. Speaking of classic 80s fantasy, did you know Honor Amongst Thieves is now available to be watched for free on that other channel that you may not know exists? Yes, Paramount Plus is currently showing Honor Amongst Thieves for free if you sign up for Paramount Plus. And to make sure people are aware of it and sign up for Paramount Plus, if you go to any of the links talking about the story, there is a coupon to get a month free of Paramount Plus just to make sure you watch the film. That's how desperate Wizards of the Coast Hasbro is for it to make money. Now, the movie is still available to watch on Amazon. It's still a $20 rental / purchase. It's been available to watch on Amazon since the 3rd of this month for reasons we still don't know. They just chose not to tell us to the 8th of this month. And then it went over to Paramount, exclusively on Paramount this week. So Monday or Tuesday of this week, it went live on Paramount. Exclusively on. It is exclusively on Paramount Plus, as long as you don't count the fact it's also on Amazon, and as long as you don't count the fact you can also get it through your Roku and Apple TV. But as long as you don't count those three, Hasbro wants you to know that Honor Amongst Thieves is exclusively available for Paramount Plus. You just have to have a Paramount Plus subscription, but don't worry, because Hasbro will cover your first month subscription for free. Actually, that's something they do anyways. It's not like Hasbro is paying for it. In order to make sure they get those numbers to prove to people that the movie is not a failure. Again, exclusive on Paramount Plus, Honor Amongst Thieves, as long as you ignore the fact it's also on Amazon, Apple, and through the Roku, and probably Vubi also, if you know what Vubi is. That's another streaming channel that you can only get with a weird place. But yeah, and is also probably playing in China, but still not making them enough money. Bum, 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 bum. There is some other news. We have a new role-playing game coming out called Fantasy World. This comes to us from Ares Games. It is powered by the Apocalypse Fantasy system, so similar to Dungeon World, but maybe not as cringy. It is called Fantasy World. The only problem with that is there already is 2 other role-playing games called Fantasy World. Chaosium released a fantasy role-playing game years ago called Fantasy World, the same time they released Super World. And there was another role-playing game called Fantasy World. So who knows what will happen with this one. It is a conversion of a British game. So, yeah, we'll see. Maybe it's good. Paizo has decided to change a name in order to scrub any connection between their stuff and the OGL. So now magic items that are really, really powerful are no longer called rare or legendary or artifacts. They're called Apex items. Apex items. So in Pathfinder 2nd Edition Revised / Pathfinder Core, please make up your mind what it's called. Is it called Dungeon Master Core? Is it called Pathfinder Core? Or is it called Pathfinder 2 Remastered? Anyways, Paizo has decided we don't want to call them epic or legendary artifacts anymore because, we're going to call them Apex magic items now. It's the tip of the iceberg. They're the king of their particular niche, much like an Apex hunter is the number one hunter in any environment. Wolves or whatever, sharks, Apex hunters. This is an Apex magic item, which means this magic item is the king number one magic item in its biome. So any other magic items in that same biome would have to, I guess, it's the prey. They're not as good. Oh, you're just a regular magic item. You're not an Apex magic item. I'm going to eat you. I don't know if Apex is the right word, but I understand what they're trying to do. A couple other Kickstarters looking to maybe hit the 100,000 or even million mark. There's an anime-inspired tabletop role-playing game that's doing pretty well on Kickstarter called Fabled S that uses cards instead of dice. There's a NPC stack of cards. I love the cards, called the Deck of the Hive Mind. That looking to at least hit the 100,000 mark. There's something called Welcome to the World Under Starlight. That Kickstarter is looking to hit the 100,000 mark. And there's something called Aeon Trespass, which has nothing to do with the Aeon Trinity role-playing setting. This one has already hit $2 million mark. It's called Aeon's Trespass Odyssey Kickstarter Triumph. It's got a new printing coming out, plus new content for the Aeon Trespass Odyssey Triumph role-playing game, and it's already hit the 2 million mark in Kickstarter. Here's a word you haven't heard in a while: Summoner Wars. 30 girls there. I want to do them. Apparently, Summoner Wars is still now around and has just released a brand new faction called Elves. Really? Elves didn't exist in Summoner Wars? I didn't even know Summoner Wars was still a thing, but it is, and they've just released a new faction. No one cares. There's a study going around these, because they love to study us, whether you have too much or not enough dice and what it means, deeply rooted in your psyche, depending upon how many dice you have and how often you buy new dice, because that's something that deserves to, receive money to be studied. It's a thing. I don't know. I'm drinking coffee. Don't ask me. I have enough dice that I need to play what I need to play. On the other hand, there are people out there who have thousands of dice. So does it mean anything? No. Are there more important things out there to probably invest money in studying than dice? Probably. Do we care? No. Is it news? Yes. I think we already went over this one. There's a new virtual tabletop coming out called Alchemy. Amongst other things, they've grabbed the rights to be able to VTT Mork Borg. Will it be able to find a place amongst these small... Well, actually, I don't know how many. I said this before. I don't know how many VTTs there actually are. There's like the 4 everybody knows about if you pay even, half attention to this topic. But other than that, how many are there? Somewhere between 4 and 20? 30? 100? I don't know. I know of 4. I remember another one being announced, but then I never heard about it ever again. And now this one. So there's at least 10. Let's say 10 to be on the safe side. So is there a market for a new one? Are you going to be like, yeah, screw you, Roll20, screw you, Forge. I'm going to go jump on Alchemy because reasons. Or are you like, well, I've already got one and I've finally learned how to make it work. Why should I jump on a new one? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. It's news. And that's about it. We've got a modern day Viking role-playing game coming out from the people who brought us Shadow of the Demon Lord. It's a game that receives very much high recognition amongst those in the know of the hobby, despite the fact that you've never heard of it or seen it. But Shadow of the Demon Lord is considered out there, one of the best, if most obscure role-playing systems. You occasionally will hear its name, but you have no idea what it is. But it's out there, and it's a very good system, apparently. Well, now they're coming up with a modern-day Viking fantasy using Shadow of the Demon Lord, because Vikings are a thing. Vikings are the new punk. Liminal is the new punk. If you go to Netflix and enter the word Viking, you will see at least 10 to 10,000 things inspired by Vikings. Same with any other movie channel. Vikings have been huge for a couple of years now. So it's, only inevitable that somebody, or more than one somebody's, would try and jump on the Viking bandwagon. Yeah. And finally, let's bring this to a close with news of one of my two favorite RPG settings. Freeport from Green Ronins, the Freeport setting, one of my two favorite RPG settings. I love Freeport. I pretty much own all the Freeport stuff. I ran an 8-year-long Freeport campaign. Recently, with the re-release of Fantasy Age 2nd Edition, they have been pushing a setting called Blackwater Bay. So I sent a letter to Green Ronin, and I was like, what's going on with Freeport? Is Blackwater Bay the new Freeport? Are you abandoning Freeport? Because you said Fantasy Age was going to be all about Freeport when you announced the 2nd edition. And they sent me an article and a link, and they said, don't worry, 2024 is going to be the year of Freeport Fantasy Age. It's coming back. It's coming back big. We'll have an introduction at the beginning of 2024 to get people reintroduced to the setting. And then everything you love about Freeport is coming back, brand new, revised for the Fantasy Age system. And also, apparently, the new Fantasy Age system is actually easy to play and good, as opposed to the old Age system, which was overly complicated. So that's good news for fellow Freeport fans. If you're a fan of pirates, Cthulhu, dinosaurs, jungle islands, and aliens, i.e. all the things I love, Dinosaur Pirate Island being one of my favorite settings. I love Freeport. I ran an 8-year-long Freeport, so I'm very excited to see Green Ronin return to Freeport and get back to supporting it, as well as getting back to supporting mutants and masterminds. Yeah, because that's a thing. And that brings today's news to an end. That's all the bits and bobs of tabletop role-playing game news we might have missed. Very excited about the possibility of a King Conan movie. Even if it never happens, it's nice to know that Arnold just wanted it to happen. So he still has some love for the character. And, that. And that's about it. And, of course, very excited to see something coming out for Freeport, because it's been a while. That's the tabletop role-playing game news, bits and bobs, end of the week nonsense. If you appreciate this content, let me know. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe yet, please subscribe. Help me hit 2,000 subs by the end of the year. It's raining, so be careful out there, and I will talk to you later. See ya. Get off my land.